Hey, I'm Shimelle, and today I'm here for the Paige Evans cut file team, and I have her beautiful new Bloom Street collection to work with, and I've pulled out lots and lots of purple things because I want to scrapbook this photo with a purple bow on my head. And I decided, because this photo was taken in Tomorrowland at Disneyland, and I'm dressed, you wouldn't perhaps notice it at first, but I'm in a strange way dressed like Buzz Lightyear. So I wanted to do something a little bit futuristic, even though it's with Bloom Street, and decided that I would do that with stars. So I chose two different star cut files from Paige's shop that were kind of my short list, and put it up to a vote on both Instagram and Facebook, and this is the one that was the winner. So I'm going to peel this Star Wreath from that background. I've cut this in smooth white basil cardstock, which is my favorite, and pretty much everything's out, just these two teensy weensy little pieces that I need to pull out. And then we are good to go on a very purpley wreath layout. Now, if you don't have a cutting machine, or you don't have this file or anything like that, don't worry. You can still use all the ideas that I'm going to show you today to create a page with a circle, a large circle on your page. So you can take this composition away and figure out what supplies you might use. It might be a pattern paper that has a large circle design on it. It might be another element, a different cut file. It might be circles that you draw with mist or watercolor or markers, anything like that. All of those rules will still apply. So let's find some purple and get started. I'm starting with paper number 17 from Bloom Street as my background. And by the way, if you are a Walt Disney World instead of Disneyland scrapper, I think this would make a gorgeous background for photos in front of the purple wall over in Tomorrowland. But we don't have that in Disneyland in California, nor in Disneyland Paris. So I'm going to go ahead and use it with this one, and my Star Wreath is going to go right over the top. And straight away, here is my big tip. If you're using a large circular element, is to take your photo or photos and tuck them into the side. So you're going to look for the composition point that fits your photo, and I can follow the curve of my leg there, tuck that into the wreath, and end up with something that's not too angled and is going to frame, it lets the circle frame the photo and takes your eye to the place I want it to go. So that's really useful. But before I stick down the white cut file, I want to back these stars. I'm going to leave the strips in between open, but I'm going to back the stars with pattern. And Paige has her wonderful 2-inch square paper pads in the Bloom Street collection and in many of her collections, possibly all of her collections. And one of them has phrases, and motifs and things like that. One of them has patterns. So I'm going to choose from the pattern swatches, that's this one on the left, and find pieces that I would like to go inside those stars. I know I want some green, so I'll pull that one out. Some turquoise will also work well. There's another green that'll be cool. I'm looking for the darker pattern swatches because they're going to give me a bit more contrast so that you can see that star shape that's on the white. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of pink in there. And now I'm into repeats. So I'm going to start with those. Just thinking, do I want perhaps a lighter shade of anything? Let's try this pink dot too. Okay, so I will trace my star shapes. See if I can get more than one on a 2-inch square or just one. So I trace this because there's not many of the stars and I want different patterns, so I'm not going to send it through the machine, but I certainly could. And in fact, on a pattern like this, if your mat is new enough to see where your cut lines are, you can take small pieces like this, having already cut the white frame, stick them down in the places where the stars are, and cut the same design again. And then you'll just have the stars to fit behind there. Now obviously that's going to be messy from the front, but tidy on the back. So good. The big question was, could I get more than one on there? And yes, I can. So that's what I'll do. And there we go, nice and colorful. Just figure out whereabouts I'd like it. I think I want the purple star over here closest to the photo so that I can emphasize the purple, and that's going to put my purples on a nice diagonal line, top left, middle, bottom right. And I love that sort of diagonal that just takes your eye naturally across the page, just as it would go, because we start reading at the top left and we finish up at the bottom right. So that just works really easily. I've added adhesive to the back of each star, so it's a lot more secure than what you saw when I flipped it over, as well as the frame. But I do use an adhesive that's repositionable for about 30 minutes, and then it sticks really strongly. So that way I can continue to move things around if I need to, but I don't need to worry about it falling apart later. I'm going to mat my photo with some purple. This is paper number 15. Just to bring out all the purple goodness. So I'm going to use two shades. This one, and then a darker one, which is number 3. So far I'm using all B-sides. And I've not stuck anything here. I am just using each layer to get an idea of what kind of size mat I want to cut, because then I'm not going to use them square. I'm going to offset them, have a little stack of paper layers. I might bring in a little bit of the blue as well to put in between. This is a scrap of this paper that I had from one of my last layouts. Just use this little bit of blue to break up the two purples. And it's not going to matter that these are all floral, because I'm going to be showing such small little pieces that it's not going to make it feel necessarily like a flower layout. And I have a little bit where this was used before. I've got this little divot cut out of there, but that's not going to matter at all once I'm making a stack of paper. So I like to make my paper stacks be a little bit messy, but not too messy. The idea is that it's like you gathered up all the papers on your desk, but you haven't done that final tick-tick that takes them all into a nice even pile. So that one's going to have a little bit of an angle there. And then I want to cover that one, so this is going to come to that side. And this is my largest layer. I'm going to pick this up a little bit so that I can go back to that idea of using the frame to go alongside the line that's already there in the photo. I just need to get that green star to come up. There we go. So that I can follow the line in the picture right there with the frame. Then all that can stick right back down. So that gives me a really strong base for my page, and it gives me different options for where things can go. I can put a journaling box here very easily. I can put a title up here very easily. I could run a title along here and just have a small bit of journaling here. I could journal all the way around the outside of the box. A few different options. Now I want to start embellishing over here to the left of the photo, and so I'm starting with some pieces from the ephemera pack, which looks like this. It has 40 die cuts, and it has quite a few that have this specialty treatment that's a holographic foil, and I do love a bit of holographic foil. So I'm going to do this journaling card, which has the holographic foil there, and the lines are holographic foil, which makes me very happy. And then there are 3 of these hearts, which you can use all together or separate. I'm going to take it down to this aqua one and resist the urge to use 100% of the purple accents all on the same page. And then also going to include this one that says sunshine and happiness. Then I'm going to mix in some other word pieces from various bits and pieces of the collection, and I've got this pattern paper ready that I've already been using on a few different layouts, but I just think this is a great embellishment page. It's the B-side to that gorgeous love pattern, so just make sure you get 2. And then you can cut this one apart to have all these different phrases that you can tuck in. And there are also words on here. I'm going to use this one that kind of goes from the pink into the purple that says my happy place. This one can bring in a bit of green. It says best is yet to come. And then I'm also going to have the darker purple here with this one that says daydreamer. And these should all stack up with some nice little layers here. Now, I'm not too worried about the flower there. I like the purple and the holographic most for this particular page. So I'm going to go ahead and put that heart right over the top there. And then this one, I think will go right underneath. Yeah. The green can come up here. Sorry if you're just hearing rain in the background. It has been raining a lot lately. I started with it not raining, and then it decided to dump rain on us, and right now it's absolutely pouring. Then I wanted that happy place. My happy place. It is indeed. Aha. There, I thought for a second there that this one didn't open up to be able to get the sticker, but it does. There we go. I think I had this one with some little foam squares to give it some dimension because the layers there are getting a bit flat, so many of them, but everything's flat. So just choosing 1 or 2 to give a little bit of a boost to can help. There we go. And then these puffy stickers that I can use as my title, and I really like that they're on clear because then I can cut them out and move them around. So my thought was to use this and make it go right across, and that's where it's going to fit. Perfect. And this is the sticker book There's even another purple dreamer piece that I could put in there, but what I was thinking was to go for these iridescent white pieces. Put them on the colorful background. That's a little heart. Add in a little turquoise one too. I don't mind mixing hearts and stars. If mixing hearts and stars is not your jam, then cut out a heart wreath instead. But I like them together, so it's okay by me. And here's some stars I can bring in too. So why don't I go back to that idea of emphasizing that line from the top left to the bottom right, and I'll do that with stars by adding the pink up there at the top and the white one too. So then they can kind of float down this way. Here's some more stars, perfect. One there. Another one down there, and one more so that I've got a little triangle top and bottom. One there. One here, both next to the purple stars. This is my favorite. Oh, look at all that rainbow. So pretty. So, kind of like to get the turquoise into this one. So I'm going to use this, which is, it's not washi, it's just cut to look like washi, which is excellent. So I'm going to tear one end and then take that other end and bring it down here to put in there. I like to have a little bit of green in here, so I'm going to bring in this little sticker that says happy. And maybe that one gets some foam squares as well. That again is a bunch of layers where everything is stuck flat. So let's pick something up. Journaling is going to go here, and let's have some little scattered embellishments. So I have a couple different things here. So this is the mixed embellishment pack, which is all these bright sequins and then stick-on gems. And these are the enamel dots. I'm going to take the white, the glittery white circular enamel dots, and I'm going to follow that line again. Add a little bit more weight to that diagonal line there. And actually bring in a few of these sequins too. So let's do 6 sequins along that line as well. Can I pull out 6 without spilling everything on my desk? Let's find out. 1. Oh, they're not all the same. Okay, hold on. So there's a clear iridescent sequin, and then there's a round silvery metallic one. So I'm going to use the silvery ones here. They're both pretty. I just didn't realize in the pack that there's 2 different kinds. I mean, there's obviously this pink and green one too, but they're different shapes. Come on. They're static-y, sticky to me. One more. There we go. And I adhere sequins just how I adhere anything else. Same adhesive, just a little dot. 3 up there, and then 3 down here. Sticking to me as I go. Last one. So that gives me that little flow along that line there. And you can add as much or as little along a line like that until you're happy that the eye will follow where you want it to go. Right, I'm going to go ahead and get my journaling on here and find any little finishing touches that I want to add. My last little finishing touch is going to be these 2 little empty spots right now from the top of the tags, and I'm going to bring in more of that green. So I've just got some more, just some green embroidery floss to loop through. Well, I did a terrible job looping that. Let's try again. Let's flatten it out. There we go. And then a little bow at the top. That's prettier. Loop through, a bow, and pull to make it smaller. Just a little bit of tidying to those bows and it's all done. So thank you for having a watch of this layout coming together, and I hope that helps you with using things in your stash that are big circle elements, whether it's printed on the pattern paper or something you cut out or something you build with lots of individual pieces. Keep in mind that you could create a bigger title that could fill up all of this space, or you could use 2 photos here and just nestle them down in the bottom of the wreath and then add more things tucked up around the top, and you can add journaling spaces in these corners if you'd rather have other elements that fit there or you need more room. But play with that idea of tucking things in and following any natural lines that happen to have a curve, and you'll find that everything has a place with that large circle on your page. Take a look at Paige's blog to see more wonderful ideas with her cut files, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye!